welcome to our mat class with the Prescott Public Library. Hopefully you've got a mat. Make baby or dog's handy also. Have a chair handy if you need some stuff. We'll be using a little bit more balance today. So let's take a big breath in, and if you always sit with one leg in front, for me it's my right leg is always pops in front, switch it around. So just gently kind of just find your spot here. Make sure you're sitting more upright. Nice big breath. And I'm kind of just gently holding onto my knees. I'm not falling backwards, but just more of a holding space for my hands. Nice big breath, and just gently side to side, opening up your waist. Not a lot of movement. You can bring your shoulders in. If you want to work on your shoulders. It's another breezy day, and I know when it gets cold, we all kind of slink into each other. So just roll your shoulders back. And just coming back. Letting your hands kind of sit right next to you and just stretch your body up. Kind of like to visualize that my head is touching the ceiling and everything is just relaxing all the way down. I like to think that my back is just righting itself. Nice long stretch in. And gently coming into a nice cat stretch, dropping your head down. And coming up, again, a little side to side movement, opening up your rib cage. Bring your shoulders and elbows in. Nice big breath. Drop your head to the right. And coming up and over towards the left. Nice big breath coming up. And looking over your right shoulder, opening up the sides of your neck. And back towards center and rotate. And nice big breath back towards center. And dropping your head over towards the right. And then drop your gaze down, kind of about your elbow. And coming back and up. And dropping over, gazing at your elbows. Well, just the one elbow. And coming up. And nice big breath, little side to side movement. Coming up, bringing your right foot out, sitting up real tall in a gentle twist, reaching over towards your toes. And coming up and reaching up real tall and stretching over. Coming up in a gentle stretch. So these are all really small warm-up style movements. Just letting your leg relax down. Sometimes we find we're trying to meet joints, and we don't need to do that. Coming up and twist. And each time you come into your twist, go just a little bit deeper. See if you can twist so your clavicle is straight towards your toes. And coming up and reaching over. And coming up and over. And And keeping your toes on your right foot pointed towards the sky. And coming up and reaching forward. And coming up and bringing your left hand over, reaching over towards the right. And coming up and over. And reaching up. Switch your legs, left leg out, bring your right foot in. Nice big breath and twisting over towards your left foot. And coming up, reaching over. And sometimes with these smaller movements, you might find that you have a few tight spots. And coming up and over. Coming up and twisting over towards your left foot. And coming up and over. And coming up and over. And coming up and once more over towards your head. Bring your head over your toes. And coming up and reaching over. And once more. And coming up. And widen your feet. So you don't have to go too wide. But just dropping your body forward. Bring your shoulders back and down. And coming up, reaching all the way up. And twisting towards the right. And coming all the way up. And reaching your head forward. And coming up, reaching all the way up. And dropping your head. But feel like you're stretching it closer towards me, like your heads are connecting. Stretching your back real long. And coming up, reaching up, and switch over. And coming up. And twist. And coming up. Bring your feet together and we're going to come up on our knees. So if sitting on your tops of your feet are not comfortable, you can sit on like a yoga brick or even grab the chair. That's super great. A nice big breath. Dropping your head towards the right, taking your left arm, dropping it, reaching the floor if you can. And switch sides. You notice a little bit of a sticky spot right on the, kind of right on the edge of that collarbone. And coming up. And switch sides. And maybe on this time, now that we're kind of on our second time, you might even feel a deeper stretch coming up in your back. Coming up and over towards your left. And just gaze down a little bit, opening up your neck. towards me and coming up. And bring your ear over and dropping down. And coming up. Nice big breath. And just bring your hands down, stretching your chest forward, but feel like you're sitting up really straight. So your stretch is more in the upper part of our body forward versus a whole, all the way down to the low back. So you probably noticed a big shift that way. So up real tall and then almost stretching the middle of your body out, your chest out. Standing real tall. See if you can touch the floor, elongating your neck. A nice big breath. Gently coming up in your knees. Give yourself a little bit of space. Nice big breath. We're going to open up our shoulders. And twisting. And then come forward. Making some really big movements, opening up that upper part of your back. So if you're kind of like, visualize that you're dropping over a ball, opening up. And gentle movements. Once more, and coming back. Hopefully you feel everything got a little bit warm in there. So we're going to stay up on our knees, bring your hands out, and reaching up, and dropping down. Drop your shoulders a little bit more. Make sure your tummy is engaged right at that bottom. And reaching all the way up. And a stretch over towards your right, pressing that middle part of your body over versus kind of a C shape, pressing upper body over, and coming up and over. Keeping your tummy engaged while we're doing this, make sure low back stays supported. And reaching up. Doing a little bit of balance work here, so taking your right foot out to the side, toes pointed towards the sky, bring your right hand down and reaching up. So I'm not pressing into my knee, but you should feel a really great stretch in our thigh, inner thigh maybe, and you can drop your left hand down, reaching up. And just a small stretch, so you feel like you're pretty angular. You can go a little bit higher if you want to, but I think this is just lovely enough. And coming around, it does tend to get a little bit pinchy if it's really tight. So if it's pinchy, obviously it's a little pinchy in me, move your foot forward a little bit. And come back at your angle, but notice usually it's those glute muscles that get a little bit tight. That's why I don't like to go and do a huge stretch on this one, because we really haven't used our glute muscles too much, but this gets our glutes working, core and our legs. One for balance, one for support. And reaching over. Dropping down. Nice long hold. Gotta hang on to this one. See if you can look down and see your toes. If your toes are way back here, kind of glance down, and then it'll affect your balance a little bit. Did that on purpose, actually. So if you're looking down, change your balance a lot because you're taking yourself off of your straight line. But notice from there, or you can always put your hand on your leg and notice if it's too far back or forward. So just hang in there for a minute. And gently coming up. So if you felt a good workout on your glutes and your outer thigh, perfect. We really did a lot of stretching. Left leg out, doing the same. And do your best not to totally lock your knee if you can keep it a little bit soft. Kind of mind over matter actually to keep it a little pliable. And coming up and reaching up real tall. And again, you can always look down and check your toes. Mine tend to go a little bit further backward for whatever reason. And coming down. And sometimes that first one, you'll notice that little outside pinch. So just focus in on it and kind of work it around. This is always my tighter side, so I'm trying to find an angle that's not too fantastic or not too sore. And that just gets, I've got a muscle that gets really tight. And dropping in. So obviously I'm keeping it real today. That was my tight spot. You can check again, see what your angles are doing on your legs. And switch out and rotate around as needed. And gently coming up. So if you felt that tightness in our hips and thighs, most of us are tight there. So dropping down in, sitting back on your knees, over towards your left, and a deeper stretch over. And reaching up. And coming up. And we'll switch sides. And if you're noticing that maybe other muscles are tight, usually that's not enough water. And I'm noticing in my body, I've had a very busy day doing just in general busy day. I know I did not get as much water as I should. So I'm noticing tightness in some muscles that don't feel like they normally do. And coming up, again back on your knees, nice big breath. From here, bring your hand to your right ear. You're doing a gentle press in. You'll probably feel some gentle muscles working on the right side of your neck. Pressing in on the left. And maybe with these gentle movements with our neck, you might notice like some sinus draining, or your ears opening up a little bit, some ear popping. We're just helping do some draining. Drop your shoulders a little bit. Mine just kind of were creeping up a little bit. Once more. So this is really lovely because you can obviously do it seated or standing. But if you're reading something on your computer and your neck's getting a little bit sore, these are pretty great ones to help open up your neck. And then kind of visualize your neck getting a little bit longer. And resting down. And now your fingers are going to be like we're doing the old-fashioned sit-ups. Bring your fingers right behind your ears. And doing the same thing, pressing gently into your fingertips. And switch. Dropping your shoulders. I'm going to move a little bit off of my knees. If your feet are getting a little bit tired, that would be pretty normal. So you might feel the sides of your neck in here, maybe getting kind of opening up a little bit differently. This is just such a really light pressure. It's almost, I would say, not noticeable. But I do notice a lot of my neck and everything just opening up, feeling really good. Nice big breath. Bring your right arm over your left. And switch sides. Opening up your shoulders. Nice big breath. Rotating around a little bit. So coming up onto your feet, so your toes are rolling underneath and gently rolling back. So you can crouch down in the beginning, just opening up your back. And stretch your tailbone up. Nice forward fold. And dropping back in again. And pressing up. And dropping down. Coming into a balance. So this is handy if you got a chair. Dropping down, pressing your tailbone up. Bring your hands to your knees and rolling all the way up. Coming side to side. So I'm actually going to rotate my mat just a little bit. So coming all the way wide into a star pose. Right foot out, bring your hands clasped in behind. So kind of rotate. So you're going to come in like we're doing a standard warrior two, but bring your hands behind your back and dropping your shoulder over so you're not going too far. Gaze up at the sky. Maybe you're visualizing you're in the tropics today. And coming up, rotate, doing the same, putting a bend in your knee and dropping over. So if you take the bend out, you kind of end up blocking your knee a little bit more than you need to, but this actually helps keep, it's not as challenging for your balance. And coming up, and switch sides, dropping it again. So even though we could do a warrior two with multiple things, multiple options with our hands, this is just going to help deepen the stretch. See if you can rotate your chest open a little bit more. Opening your chest up. See if you can rotate your upper body a little bit more. And coming up. Bring your arms out to the side. All the way up. And dropping your hands down. Nice forward fold, and you can widen your feet just a little bit, walking your hands over towards your right foot. And towards center. And over towards your left foot. And back towards center, dropping in just a little bit more. And dropping your tushy in, bring your hands to your knees, rolling all the way up. And just gently bring your feet together. And bring your hands into heart center. Coming into our chair pose, really keeping that tummy in strong. Weight more on your heels and set up a little bit more. They'll be giving you a rotation of your pelvis. And coming up. And dropping in again. Taking your right foot off of the ground. Try to keep your balance pretty stable. That's where your chair comes in handy. Dropping down. And coming up. And dropping down in, reaching all the way up. And back into chair. Engaging your tummy, right leg up. Resting down, switch sides. Drop your shoulders. I just realized mine were joining my ears. And resting down, bring your hands into heart center. And bring your hands to your knees. Bringing it all the way up. Now do a small twist over towards your left. Right leg up. And rotating down. Warrior three. So we're keeping our hands here for just a moment. And rotation of your feet. Switch sides. So if you have balance issues, chair's great. We're keeping our hands here in the beginning just for some extra balance. And dropping in, reaching up. Reaching your arms all the way down. Bring your right foot up. Just gently pressing out. And reaching forward. Holding in, and then bring your hand or your ankle underneath your knee. Hands are still up, tree pose. Keep your hands where you want them. Find your focal point. And resting down. Reaching your hands up, left leg out. And warrior three. And coming up. In heart center. And resting your leg down. Nice big breath, reaching all the way up. We'll swan dive down, bring your hands to the mat. Walk your feet out into a downward dog. And back into plank, but drop your knees down. Widen your knees. It's a lovely child's pose, opening up your back. Gently coming up when you're ready. And dropping all the way down to your tummy. Little side to side rock. Nice big breath. Bring your hands right about middle of your rib cage. Elbows in. And a gentle press up. And press up a little bit just so you feel like you've kind of come off of the floor, but let your neck relax down. And resting in. Roll your hips out a little bit. Nice big breath, pressing up again. Engage your glutes, bringing your feet off of the ground. And resting down. Little side to side rock. And pressing up, bring your hands behind your back, keeping your face towards the ground. And dropping in. Nice big breath, reaching up again. See if you can lift your legs up a little bit higher. Strengthening your back and your neck, but keeping your fingers towards your toes. And a little hip rock. Once more, coming up. And bring your fingers in front. Press up a little bit higher if you can. And then bring your feet in and out. And then a flutter. Like you're going to go swimming underwater, a little torpedo. And a little in and out. Resting down. And coming up. And reaching your right arm, left leg. And switch. Resting down. And coming up again. Right arm, left leg. And switch sides. Resting down. Nice big breath once more. And see if you can press up a little bit more out of your hand, your supporting hand. Resting down, switch sides. And resting down. Nice big breath. Just bring your hands underneath your chin. Bring this into a nice Shavasana. When you're ready, just slowly roll to one side and press yourself up. Thank you so much for coming today. Namaste.